They say there exists a discipline so quiet, so hidden, that it can turn an ordinary man into something unrecognizable, not monstrous, but dangerous in his calm, unyielding in his presence, and untouchable in his spirit. It does not roar. It does not announce itself. It grows in the shadows where no applause can reach. It grows in the hours when a man faces the thing he fears most, the rattling cage inside his own mind. Most men run from that cage. They drown themselves in noise so they won't hear the scratching. They chase pleasure because they fear what stillness might reveal. They surrender to impulse because discipline feels like death. And slowly, quietly, they become prisoners of their own unchecked fear. But a few, a rare kind of soul, sense a different calling, a whisper inside the ribs, a knock beneath the sternum, a warning that says, if you do not master yourself now, your life will not be yours. This is the path they walk, not the way of swords, not the way of blood, but the way of silent discipline, the ancient system that sharpens a man's spirit until it grows fangs, yet teaches him to sheath them behind steady breath and unshakable eyes. This is the story of one such man, and of the wanderer who shattered him only to rebuild something stronger. If this path stirs something deep in you, remain. The journey has only begun. Riku had always felt something tearing inside him, a quiet ripping beneath his ribs, as if a creature paced in a locked drawer at the center of his chest, scratching, begging to be released. His mind ran without pause, leaping from fear to anger to imagined disasters. Even in silence, he heard noise. Even in peace, he felt hunted. People thought he was impatient. He knew the truth was darker. He was afraid of what he would hear if the world ever went quiet around him. The breaking happened on a night that should have been ordinary. A single insult, a single breath too sharp, and Riku erupted. Voice raised, fists trembling, shame spreading through him like spilled ink. He fled into the dark, unable to face the eyes that had watched him lose control. And that is when he saw the old man sitting by the river, perfectly still. The old man didn't look up when Riku approached. He didn't flinch at the sound of hurried footsteps or the shame trembling through them. He simply breathed, slow, deliberate, as if each inhale carved a deeper piece into the air around him. It unsettled Riku, a man that still should not exist in a world this loud. When the wanderer finally opened his eyes, it felt like a curtain tearing open. He didn't study Riku's clothes or his posture or the anger still burning on his skin. He looked straight into the storm behind his eyes, that restless, frightened beast no one else had ever seen. "You're noisy inside," the old man said quietly, as if noting the weather. Then came the sentence that cracked something ancient in Riku's spine. "Your spirit is loud because your ego is terrified." It was the first wound and the first doorway. The mountains were colder than Riku expected. Not the kind of cold that bites the skin, the kind that exposes the parts of you you've spent years hiding. The wanderer led him to a flat stone overlooking a valley where morning mist moved like silent ghosts. Without warning, without instruction, the old man simply pointed at the stone. "Sit." Riku obeyed, unsure, folding his legs awkwardly. "1 hour," the wanderer said. "No movement, no sound, no escape." For the first 3 minutes, Riku felt foolish. By the 6th, he felt trapped. By the 12th, he felt hunted by his own thoughts. His mind thrashed in the locked drawer of his chest, shaking old memories loose, the ones he thought he'd buried. A red thread of panic wrapped around his throat. Silence wasn't peaceful. It was violent. And that was the point. By the 30th minute, sweat ran down Riku's spine despite the cold. His mind showed him everything he feared, failures he never admitted, insults that still stung, the cracked cross moments in his life where he chose fear instead of courage. Each thought rose like a beast with yellow eyes, pacing behind the locked drawer of his ribs, waiting for him to flinch. He wanted to run. He wanted to shout. He wanted noise, any noise, to drown the truth rising inside him. But the wanderer watched from a distance, arms folded, as if he had seen 1,000 men break at this very stone. Finally, when the hour ended, Riku collapsed forward, gasping. The old man approached and spoke with quiet authority. To master the world, you must first outlast yourself. Riku didn't know it yet, but this was only the first fracture in who he used to be. The next trial hides in Chapter 3, where the ego finally breaks. Riku mistook endurance for mastery, a common delusion of men who survive their first storm and believe the sky now belongs to them. The wanderer sensed this shift immediately. Pride has a scent, and Riku carried it like smoke on his clothes. So the old man led him deeper into the mountains, to a place no one in the nearby town spoke of anymore. The abandoned shrine, with its roof half collapsed and its doors burned black, as if struck by lightning that never touched the surrounding trees. Inside, the air felt heavier, older, like a locked drawer filled with memories no one had the courage to open. "This is where you stop pretending," the wanderer said. "No rituals, no instructions, just silence. The kind that forces a man to face the ledger he's been avoiding. The burned one with missing pages. The one that records every moment he ran instead of stood." And then the visions began. The shrine seemed to breathe. Shadows shifted across the cracked floor as if old memories were waking from sleep. Riku felt the familiar panic rise, that red thread tightening around his throat as the past he'd buried began scraping its way back up. The friend he betrayed. The woman he loved but pushed away. The father he couldn't forgive. Each memory appeared not as a picture, but as a wound he had stitched shut too quickly. His ego snapped. Not loudly, but with the soft, sickening sound of something finally giving way. He fell to his knees, not from pain, but from truth. The wanderer approached, calm as dusk. "Do not run from this," he said. "See it, do not become it." That was the second discipline, the art of witnessing without surrendering. Riku stood slowly, trembling, but clearer than he had ever been. Ahead lies Chapter 4, where his fury is no longer an enemy, but a blade. The morning after the shrine, Riku's eyes looked different. Not softer, not harder, just aware, as if he had finally noticed the beast pacing behind the locked drawer of his ribs. The wanderer saw it instantly. The quiet trembling of a man who has met his own shadow and lived. Without a word, he led Riku to a clearing where the earth was scarred, as though generations had trained there and left their fury in the soil. "This is where you learn the difference," the old man said, "between a man who burns and a man who welds fire into a blade." What followed was not combat. It was collision. Breath colliding with heartbeat, heartbeat colliding with memory, memory colliding with rage. Riku's anger surged, hot and wild, but the wanderer's voice cut through it like a cold blade. "Direct it. Do not drown in it." For the first time, Riku felt anger move through him instead of against him. The drills intensified. Each movement had purpose, each breath a hidden command. The wanderer taught Riku how to anchor his fury in his lower abdomen, the tendon, the ancient forge of warrior energy, until anger no longer scattered him, but gathered him. His strikes grew slower yet heavier, like thunder choosing where to fall. His posture settled into something unmistakable, presence with weight. "You were taught to fear your fire," the wanderer said. "But fire is not the enemy. The untrained mind is." Riku felt it, the shift, the tightening of invisible threads connecting his breath, muscles, and decisions. Villagers who occasionally passed the clearing stepped lightly, sensing a danger that did not roar, a danger that watched. By dusk, Riku no longer looked like a man who fought himself. He looked like a man preparing for something no one had named yet. And in Chapter 5, the nameless fear finally steps out of the dark. The wanderer led Riku to the forest at dusk, stopping where the trees grew so tightly together that even the wind hesitated to enter. The ground here was cold, soft, almost too quiet, as if something beneath it listened. Without turning, the old man spoke. "No fire, no weapon, no guidance. Tonight, you meet the thing that has owned you your whole life." He walked away before Riku could answer. Night fell quickly, swallowing color, swallowing sound. The forest became a chamber of whispers, branches snapping in the distance, leaves brushing against unseen shapes. Every noise sounded like a threat. Every shadow held a face he didn't want to remember. His mind began playing its old tricks again, the red thread of panic tightening, the cracked cross memories returning, the phantom footsteps circling him. But running would mean returning to the man he used to be. And the forest knew that. Hours blurred into something slower than time. Each sound became a test, each rustle a question. Is this real, or is it you? At first, Riku raised his guard at every noise, muscles locked, breath sharp. But slowly, a realization crept in like cold water seeping into stone. The forest wasn't attacking him. His own mind was. The true predator was inside the locked drawer of his chest, painting terror onto neutral shapes. So he did the one thing his old self never could. He stopped fighting the shadows and started watching them. When panic rose, he breathed. When images of failure clawed at him, he named them quietly and let them pass. Somewhere between midnight and dawn, fear's grip loosened, not because it disappeared, but because he stopped obeying it. By the time the first thin line of light cut through the trees, something else had bowed its head. It wasn't the forest. It was the part of him that never wanted him to change. When dawn finally broke, Riku did not rise quickly. He rose quietly, as if the night had carved something new into his spine. The wanderer was waiting at the edge of the forest, watching with the faintest hint of approval, the kind given only to those who have stepped into their own darkness and returned without begging for light. Riku walked toward him without hurry. No shaking hands, no darting eyes, no red thread panic strangling his breath. The old self, the one ruled by fear, impulse, and noise, felt like a burned ledger left behind in the ashes of the forest floor. What remained was cleaner, heavier, more deliberate. "You understand now," the wanderer said. Riku didn't answer. He didn't need to. Silence had become his language, and in it lived a strength he never imagined he could carry. But the final truth had not yet been spoken. As they descended the mountain, the wanderer finally broke the silence. The world cannot break a man who has learned to quiet himself. The words did not strike Riku like a lesson. They settled in him like a remembering, as though his spirit had always known this truth but never had the discipline to reach it. When he returned to the town he once feared, people sensed a change before he spoke a single word. His presence carried weight now. Not aggression, not dominance, but certainty. The kind that makes others lower their eyes without knowing why. He moved differently, chose differently, breathed differently. Fear still existed in him, but it knelt now, like a creature that recognized its master. Riku was no longer an ordinary man. He was the ancient definition of a beast, sovereign, disciplined, unshakable. And though his journey was complete, something about the silence he carried suggested there was a deeper path waiting, hidden just beyond the edge of awareness.